I remember the exact moment it all unraveled. It's strange how those instances carve themselves into your memory, refusing to fade. Like time slows just enough to capture the second everything changes. A bullet paused in midair, waiting to strike. It was a Wednesday. I'd taken the afternoon off, just a mild cold, nothing serious. Thought I'd be sweet and bring Laura, my wife of 8 years, her favorite sandwich from that little deli she loved. She worked from home most days, editing articles for some upscale lifestyle magazine. I figured I'd drop in, kiss her on the forehead, and maybe even watch her smile the way she used to when I surprised her. But when I pulled into the driveway, something felt off. The bedroom blinds were shut. That might seem small to someone else, but Laura hated keeping the blinds closed. Said the sunlight helped her focus. Seeing them drawn in the middle of the day made my stomach twist in ways I couldn't explain. I stepped inside quietly, maybe. And then I heard it. A man's voice. Deep, confident, followed by Laura's laughter, the soft, airy giggle that used to make my day. Then came her whisper. We shouldn't be doing this. The bag in my hand slipped from my fingers, hitting the hardwood with a muffled thud. Turkey and avocado on rye scattered across the floor like a ridiculous symbol of something that used to be comforting now shattered. Everything after that felt distant, like watching myself in a dream. I climbed the stairs slowly, each step a battle against disbelief. My heart was hammering so hard it felt like it would tear through my ribs. Cold sweat ran down my back. I paused outside our bedroom. I didn't need to open the door, I already knew. I could hear them, but I opened it anyway. There she was, Laura, entwined in our bedsheets. Her face went pale the moment our eyes met. The man beside her, someone I didn't recognize, tall, bearded, scrambled for his clothes in a clumsy panic. He wouldn't even meet my eyes. Laura pulled the blanket around her, clutching it like it could shield her from what she'd done. It's not what it looks like, Drew, she said. The words hung in the air like smoke. I stared at her. The woman I had loved, lived with, built a life beside, suddenly a stranger. Not what it looks like. My voice sounded flat, unfamiliar. Her face crumpled, tears rising fast as she tried to explain. It was a mistake, Drew. Just one. Horrible, stupid mistake. Please, just once. Just once. As if once made it easier to swallow. As if it didn't burn the same way. I didn't say a word. I just turned and walked out. I didn't know where I was headed. Only that I couldn't be there not another second. I ended up at my brother Chris's apartment. He's the blunt, no-nonsense type, never afraid to speak his mind. When I told him, he didn't sugarcoat anything. You've got to leave her, Drew. Don't let her spin it into something you can forgive. Don't let her talk circles around you. But I didn't argue, because it wasn't that easy. 8 years doesn't vanish because of one horrible afternoon. Love doesn't just dry up, even when you want it to. The next morning, I went back. Laura was in the kitchen, waiting. Her face was swollen and red from crying. She'd made coffee, like we were about to sit down and talk through something trivial. Her hands trembled as she placed the mug in front of me. I'm sorry, she whispered, voice thin and breaking. It didn't mean anything. It was selfish and wrong, and I'll do whatever it takes. Please let me fix this. I stared at her, unsure what I was even looking at anymore. She looked fragile, smaller somehow. And for the first time, I didn't know if I still saw my wife or just the person who broke me. She looked so fragile back then, like her guilt alone might collapse her. And despite everything, my pride, my anger, I said the words she needed to hear. Okay. I let her think we could mend what was broken. I pretended to be the kind of man who could forgive, who could rise above betrayal with grace. For weeks, I wore that mask flawlessly. We sat through counseling sessions where I listened to her sob through apologies. I nodded along when she vowed to dedicate the rest of her life to making things right. One afternoon, the therapist looked at me and said, "You're stronger than most men." Strong. That's what they saw. But Laura didn't know what I was. Really? Planning. The first thing I did was hire a lawyer, someone who knew how to use the law to my advantage. Quietly, carefully, I began building my case. In our state, infidelity still carries weight in court, and Laura had made that part easy. While she was racked with guilt, breaking down in my arms and whispering how ashamed she was, I was busy collecting evidence. I found his name, Todd Patterson, worked at some marketing firm on the other side of town, married, to kids, the whole wholesome image. I documented everything, the messages I pulled from her phone while she slept, the phone records, the receipts, even old emails. In one of them, she told him she was tired of our dull marriage. That one stayed with me. Once I had what I needed, I wrote a short note. You were right, Laura. It was just one mistake. But it's a mistake you'll never stop paying for. I left it on her pillow. Then I waited. On a Friday night, while she was supposedly out with a friend, though I doubted that story, I put my plan into motion. I packed only what mattered. Some clothes, my laptop, my grandfather's watch. The rest she could keep. Before I left, I erased every trace of our relationship from the house, every framed picture, every shared memory. I transferred all the funds from our joint account, the one I had poured my earnings into for years, into a private account with only my name on it. My lawyer confirmed it was legally sound. Her affair had shattered the marital agreement, but the part that satisfied me the most was what came next. I sent an email to Todd's wife, attached every screenshot, every message, every trace of their affair. I added a simple line. I thought you deserved to know the truth about your husband. Then I blocked Laura's number. By the time she came home and found the empty house, the blank walls, the silent phone, and the note waiting for her, I was long gone. The aftermath was exactly what I'd envisioned. 2 days later, she appeared at my friend Chris's door, tears running down her face, her voice cracking. How could you do this? She cried. You just left. You didn't even try. I stood calm, watching her fall apart. I did try, Laura. You're the one who quit on us. I'm just finishing the story you started. It was just one mistake, she pleaded. I gave a slight smile. One mistake that cost you everything. She didn't respond. What could she say? The damage was done. In the end, I kept the house. Todd lost his job apparently. His company didn't take kindly to employees engaging in office affairs, especially when it involved breaching a moral conduct clause. Laura moved into a cramped one-bedroom in the city. I heard from mutual acquaintances that she tried dating again, but it didn't go well. Word spreads quickly in a town like ours. Starting over wasn't easy. 8 years of shared life doesn't vanish overnight. But knowing I hadn't allowed her to trample over my dignity gave me a strange sense of relief. People like to say revenge doesn't fix anything. I disagree. For me, it fixed everything. Almost a year later, I ran into her at the grocery store. She looked different, older, like the weight of her choices had finally settled on her shoulders. She approached slowly, cautiously. Hi, Drew, she said, her voice barely audible. I nodded. Just a simple acknowledgement. After a pause, she added, I still think about you. About what I did. I'm sorry. I looked her in the eyes, and for the first time since it all fell apart, I felt nothing. No fury, no hurt, just calm. I hope you learned something from it, Laura. I really do. Then I turned and walked away, leaving her alone in the cereal aisle, clutching a box of Cheerios. Like it was the last thing anchoring her to this world. Some mistakes, after all, can never be undone.